Okay, students, today's class is on restrictive lung diseases and also about pneumoconiosis. So, your obstructive lung disease class is already over. You have learned about COPDs, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, bronchiectasis, etc. Now, this is another group of disorders of lung, which is known as restrictive lung diseases. There are a lot of differences between obstructive lung disease and restrictive lung disease, which I will cover by the end of the class. So, what is this restrictive or interstitial lung disease? All these are same, synonymous. Restrictive lung disease, interstitial lung disease, etc. all are same terms used for a single group of disorders. So they are a heterogeneous group of disorders which includes inflammation and fibrosis of the pulmonary connective tissue. So basically there is restriction, okay, that you have to know. Here there is some restriction for the lung expansion, okay. And what is causing that restriction? The underlying pathology is fibrosis of the pulmonary connective tissue. If there is fibrosis inside the lung, what happens? It can't expand. There is some scar like thing, so it cannot expand. So that is a basic pathology, and it involves mainly the peripheral delicate interstitium. What is this interstitium? You might have learned that there is a capillary, there is an alveoli lying just adjacent to the capillaries, and in between the space between the capillary basement membrane and the alveolar wall, you get the interstitial space. So that interstitium in the pulmonary parenchyma is affected in this restrictive lung disease. So that's why it is also known as interstitial lung disease. Okay. Now, what are the common features? Your carbon monoxide diffusion is reduced. The compliance of the lung will be reduced. The total lung capacity is reduced because basically there is a restriction for the lung to perform its function. It is not able to expand to its maximum as normal. Okay. So it is characterized by dyspnea, tachypnea, crackles, cyanosis, etc. And there are a lot of disorders coming under this group. All these lesions have a common chest X-ray findings, that is bilateral infiltrative lesions, and it can be complicated by pulmonary hypertension, right heart failure, and cor pulmonale. So these are certain features, and by the end the lung will progress to a condition or type of lesion that is known as honeycomb lung. So that denotes the typical appearance the lung will have at the end of this disease. The lung will be looking like a honeycomb. Small cystic spaces like thing will be there, and that's why it's known as honeycomb lung. So these are the common features of all interstitial lung diseases. Okay. Now, how will you classify this? A lot of causes are there behind this interstitial lung diseases. So it can be either chest wall disorders. That means if you have a chest wall disorder like polio, obesity, okay, any pleural disorders, a kyphoscoliosis, some bending because of some spine abnormalities, okay, all these will cause restriction for lung expansion. That is common sense. If you imagine that the patient is having morbid obesity, so the patient's lung will not be expanding like a normal lung. So that all can, this chest wall disorders is a cause for this restrictive lung disease. Now, chronic interstitial lung disease, other than these chest wall disorders, lot of other disorders are there which are grouped under chronic interstitial lung disease. അതിന് വേറെ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് കോസ് അല്ല ഉള്ളത്. They are all coming under this interstitial lung diseases. Which are those diseases? So it can be a fibrosing disease like usual interstitial pneumonia, which is commonly known as idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, that is IPF. So this is the most common variant, that is IPF, pulmonary fibrosis or idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Next is pneumoconiosis, that is nothing but occupational lung disorders. NIP, that is non-specific interstitial pneumonia. Then BOOP, connective tissue disorders, drug reactions, all these are certain examples of. Just remember at least 2 or 3 names. At least in idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis and pneumoconiosis, you should be able to tell. Now, a lot of other causes of this interstitial lung diseases, granulomatous, restrictive lung disease, granulomatous lung diseases like TB, sarcoid, then eosinophilic disease, eosinophilic disorders like any condition which causes eosinophilia, smoking related. All these can cause restrictive lung diseases. Now we'll see few features about idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. It's also known as a cryptogenic fibrosing alveolitis. And if you take a lung biopsy of this patient with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, the patient will be having the histological features will be as collectively known as usual interstitial pneumonia. So both idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis and UIP are the same. Now how is it happening? Just few I will show in the flow chart. So here, so first there will be any epithelial injury. The lung parenchyma, the alveolar epithelium can get injured, and what happens later, it secretes more TGF beta 1. So that is a cytokine which is released by the epithelial cells, and that activates fibroblast and myofibroblast. So what does this fibroblast do? That will deposit collagen and extracellular matrix, and that will result in fibrosis. So that is one of the easiest pathway to remember. Another thing is this TGF beta 1, it can cause reduced telomerase activity, and this telomerase activity, you know that it can lead to telomere shortening. This telomere plays a very important role in cellular aging or senescence. So cellular senescence and apoptosis will happen. So all these again is a vicious cycle which can lead again to epithelial injury. Okay, and this is more complicated. If you can at least remember that TGF beta 1, it inhibits this or it activates this fibroblast and myofibroblast which produce collagen and fibrosis. At least ആ ഒരു പോർഷനുകൾ നിങ്ങൾ അറിയണം. അതിന് പെത്തോജനസിസ് കാര്യമായിട്ട് ചോദിക്കാറില്ല, but you have to remember that, the basic thing. And the gross feature is also, you can see cobblestone pleural surfaces is not that important for you. Just if you remember, it's well and good. And on cut section you will see fibrosis. Fibrosis, and microscopically, just you remember these 2 points, that is there is patchy interstitial fibrosis and honeycomb fibrosis. Okay, ഇത് അധികം അങ്ങനെ മൈക്രോസ്കോപ്പി ആയിട്ട് ചോദിച്ചിട്ടില്ല, but if they ask about idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, you have to mention what all diseases comes or what all features, like usual interstitial pneumonia feature, then what is a gross feature, what is a microscopy. Just write 2 sentences, at least 2 sentences. So ഇപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒന്നും അറിയാത്തൊരു ടോപ്പിക് ആണെങ്കിൽ if you write 2 sentences, you will get marks. So patchy interstitial fibrosis, honeycomb fibrosis are the 2 important features in idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. So you can see this is a honeycomb fibrosis. So these are the bronchial spaces, the airway spaces which are dilated, cystically dilated, and the interstitium, that space in between, is having fibrosis. So that's why it gets the appearance of a honeycomb. Okay, idonnum venda ningalku. Then another complication is pulmonary arterial hypertension. So here you can see the pulmonary arteries, the 2 images A and B, which are thickened. The pulmonary arteries at concentric thing is thickened. The muscle layer is thickened. Now what are the clinical features of IPF? You can get dyspnea. So dyspnea is a main symptom with dry cough. What was a feature in obstructive pulmonary diseases? If you remember, in chronic bronchitis, bronchiectasis, everything you have cough with expectoration. So it was not dry. But here, the typical feature, it is dry cough. And patient will have dyspnea. Now usually it is seen in older age group. Patient will have hypoxemia, cyanosis, clubbing, and the lung function, there will be gradual deterioration of the lung function with frequent exacerbations in between. So the only treatment is, actually they can give medical treatments like steroids and all, but if the whole lung is affected, by the end the patient may have to undergo lung transplantation. So it's actually a type of a fibrosing end stage liver will look lung will look like a means it will be shrunken, it will be fibrotic, scar like shrunken tissue. So there is no way to replace the lung function, so they will do a lung transplantation. So that's about interstitial lung diseases. They can ask as a short note, interstitial lung disease or restrictive disease, restrictive pulmonary diseases. I will tell the differences by the end of the slide and as the end slide. Okay, we'll start with another new topic, that is pneumoconiosis. What is pneumoconiosis? Pneumoconiosis is nothing but occupational lung disease. Occupational lung disease, which all occupational lung disease you know? Okay, commonly we can see coal dust. A lot of dusts are there. One of the most important is coal dust. Okay, the other dust we'll see in detail. So it is described as non-neoplastic lung reaction to inhalation of mineral dust encountered in the workplace. And you can see different inorganic particulates, organic particles, etc., which cause this pneumoconiosis. So this is classified as mineral dust, organic dust, and chemical vapors and fumes. Of the mineral dust, the most important one is the coal dust. Then comes silica and asbestosis. At least you remember these three, because ഈ മൂന്നും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഷോർട്ട് നോട്ട്സ് ആയിട്ട് ചോദിക്കും. Coal workers pneumoconiosis, silicosis, asbestosis. Now organic dust, that is hypersensitivity pneumonitis ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്ന anything which causes a hypersensitive lung change. So that is divided into different types. So that includes farmer's lung. What is this farmer's lung? With them, when they inhale this moldy hay, this hay fever എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന സാധനമാണ്, that is farmer's lung. Next is buggas, that is buggasosis. Bird droppings leads to bird breeder's lung. So this is important. Then another thing is bicyanosis, which induce asthma, chemical fumes, vapors, etc. So these are certain occupational lung disorders. Of these you have to learn. Okay, before that, what determines the nature of lung injury? So the amount of dust which is inhaled, the size, shape, buoyancy of the particles, the solubility of the particle, the physicochemical reactivity of the particle, the effects of other irritants. All these factors affect the nature of this lung injury by these dust or vapors. We'll begin with coal workers pneumoconiosis. This is asked as a short note. Lot of times it is asked. So that is a lung disease due to inhalation of coal dust particles. So that is usually seen in coal mine workers. Okay, for a number of years, if they are exposed to this coal, they will have this coal workers pneumoconiosis. And there are a lot of different terminologies which comes under this pneumoconiosis. Under coal workers itself, you can have asymptomatic anthracosis. So ഇതിൻ്റെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ്, you have to learn all these terms. All these are new terms for you. പക്ഷേ നിങ്ങൾക്കിപ്പോൾ ന്യൂമോകോണിയോസിസ് എന്നൊരു ഷോർട്ട് നോട്ട് ചോദിച്ചാൽ ആ സമയത്ത് എന്താണ് ന്യൂമോകോണിയോസിസ് എന്ന് അറിയാതെ ഇരുന്നാൽ യു വിൽ ലൂസ് മാർക്ക്. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് യു റിമെമ്പർ ദാറ്റ് ഓക്കെ ന്യൂമോകോണിയോസിസ് ഇസ് എൻ occupational lung disease, you can get full marks because it is very easy to learn. Few tests and few reactions to that, that's all. And similarly, what is anthracosis? That is nothing but a coal worker pneumoconiosis or coal injury, coal mediated injury to the lung. Okay, so that is nothing but anthracosis. So it can be an asymptomatic anthracosis, or it can be a simple coal workers pneumoconiosis with little or no pulmonary dysfunction, or it can be a complicated cold workers pneumoconiosis or PMF. What is this PMF? That is progressive massive fibrosis of the lung. Another scenario is a rheumatoid pneumoconiosis, or that is known as Kaplan syndrome. That is when the patient is having a rheumatoid kind of nodules also associated with that, then that is known as rheumatoid arthritis. It's a type of connective tissue disorder. So usually this interstitial lung diseases is the most common cause of this interstitial lung disease is a connective tissue disorder like SLE, rheumatoid arthritis, etc. So if that is associated with the cold worker pneumoconiosis, then that is known as a Kaplan syndrome. Okay. So this is a range of this CWP or cold workers pneumoconiosis. Now we'll see each of these one by one. Anthracosis. So that is the most innocuous lesion that's seen in it's actually a symptomatic type of cold workers pneumoconiosis seen in cold workers. And when the carbon pigment it is engulfed by this alveolar macrophage, what happens? They accumulate in the connective tissue. Okay, so you can see this carbon pigment, this black pigment, if you take a tissue from the lung like a pleura, a bronchi, etc. You can see this carbon. Okay, you can see this black dots. Okay, inside the bronchial spaces. That's why it's seen as small spots throughout the lung. So that is anthracosis. So if you take the microscope, you can see like this. It's all black carbon pigments. It's actually, we can also see this type of carbon pigment when you take a lung biopsy or even a hilar lymph node also. Sometimes you can see this much of black pigment. Okay, this is actually happening. We can see lot of carbon pigment who are more exposed to this carbon. Now the second scenario is a simple cold workers pneumoconiosis. You can get cold macules or carbon laden macrophages which constitute about 1 to 2 millimeter size. So that is a size range. So each size range in such you can name it as cold macules or cold nodules. If it is more than this 2 millimeter, then that is known as cold nodules. Okay, nothing but accumulation of this cold inside the macrophage. Okay, you can get it in upper lobe and upper zones of the lower lobe, adjacent to respiratory bronchioles. It can even lead to central lobar emphysema. So this is this cold macules and cold nodules if it is more than 2 millimeter in size. Okay, so here you can see the lung with all those carbon laden macrophages. Now what is complicated CWP? So that is usually seen in the background of a simple cold workers pneumoconiosis and requires many years to develop. You can get blackened scars of 2 to 10 centimeters. Microscopically you can get dense collagen and pigment. See the lung, it has changed into a dark black in color. So that's how it looks like. It's a type of complicated version of this cold workers pneumoconiosis. The entire lung is fibrosed and it is laden with this, it is loaded with this carbon laden macrophages. Now what are the clinical features? It's a benign disease and there is increased incidence of chronic bronchitis and emphysema which is associated with cold workers pneumoconiosis. Sometimes the patient can have pulmonary hypertension or cor pulmonale, and there is no increased risk of carcinoma or tuberculosis in this case. So that is important because when you learn the next diseases like silicosis and this asbestosis, you will see that in some diseases you have increased risk of tuberculosis. In another asbestosis you have increased risk of carcinoma. But here in cold workers pneumoconiosis there is no increased risk of malignancy.